Okay, I've been gone for a while, but I'm back now, and this is a reaction video. Henry talks Tottenham, Henry talks Spurs, Henry talks football, whatever you want to call it. Henry is a Spurs fan, and he is right now having a very difficult time right now dealing with Thomas Frank in Tottenham. And let's hear what he has to say, because this is no doubt going to be a rant, and he's pretty ticked off at his club, and I'm an Arsenal fan, so I am pretty pleased that his club is going down the toilet right now. But let's see what he has to say.
Tottenham right now are in a crisis. Let's just call it what it is. We're in a crisis. We're sleepwalking into a relegation battle. And reports coming out today from Sky Sports and from David Ornstein, incredible in the nose at Tottenham, that they are prepared to give him the Borussia Dortmund game, and things will go ahead as normal, and he will take today's press conference.
Now, just so you're aware, Spurs have been poor throughout the year. Okay, they have been absolutely poor. I think they're in 14th place. They're not going to be relegated. He calls them in a relegation zone. They're not in a relegation zone. Wolves, Burnley, and West Ham, I think, are too far down to catch Tottenham, to be fair. At least that's what I think. But Spurs just played West Ham at home. West Ham, who had 14 points on the year, and they got beat 2-1 on a last-second goal, and he's not happy about it.
We are a laughingstock right now. How Thomas Frank is still in a job it's a miracle. But it's penny pinching once again from this football club because there isn't managers available in the market. Give it to Heitinger.
There actually is a manager in the market. Xavi Alonso is in the market, okay? And he would be absolutely perfect for Tottenham, but I don't think he'd go to Tottenham. But he would be absolutely perfect for Tottenham.
Until the end of the season, Thomas Frank's first assistant coach, give it to him until the end of the season. There are managers out there. Xavi's available. Xabi Alonso's available. Glasner has already announced that he's going to leave Crystal Palace this season. Agree a deal so that he comes in the summer. Pochettino, again, is heavily linked with a return.
Pochettino is managing the U.S. national team. He is not going to come till after the World Cup. So, that, and that's how it's going to be, okay? He is not coming anytime soon for Tottenham, certainly not this year.
I don't subscribe to this utter BS that there isn't managers available. Fabian Hertzler, according to Football Insider, is also on the radar. We are right now in it's a crisis. We need serious investment. We need help from the board. Vinay, our CEO, is coming out there before the West Ham game saying we believe in this group of players, but we also know we need to upgrade and improve on the quality. Well, then go out there and fucking show us. Stop this bullshit in trying to just do a PR stunt to get fans on side.
But I just love it when he swears. He's a great person to swear. He is fantastic at that.
We've won one of our last 8 Premier League games, losing to Bournemouth, losing to West Ham, drawing to Wolves, losing to Nottingham Forest. Listen to the teams. I'm literally telling you.
Hey, Arsenal drew with Nottingham Forest over the weekend. Okay, we got nothing to scream about, to be fair.
That we have not beaten this season. We gave Fulham their first away win this season. We gave Bournemouth their first away win this season. We are the 4th worst team at home this season. The tactical changes from the manager. You're 1-1 with West Ham, or you're 1-0 down to West Ham. The first change you do is to bring on Bissouma. You bring on Spence for Ben Davies. Ben Davies shouldn't be starting in the first place. There's other players as you doggy on the bench. Like every single decision Thomas Frank seems to make is the wrong one.
And to be fair, I believe that his substitutions pattern at Brentford weren't very good either. Okay, I don't think he's good at managing to win because he's good at that. But when he has to come back from behind, he's not very good at that. He never really was, to be fair.
Enough's enough. Sack this manager. If we somehow get 4 points from our next 2 Champions League games, that could potentially be enough to get us into the last 16, which is worth about 10 to 15 million pounds. If you get a lucky draw, who knows? Who knows? You may go through to the quarter-final, which is then worth another 10 to 15 million.
Look, Spurs have done reasonably well in the Champions League, to be fair. They haven't done poorly, to the best of my knowledge. They play Borussia Dortmund at home next game tomorrow. Borussia Dortmund is not great by any stretch.
Pounds. That is money that the club could quite easily use in the summer. This season is salvageable. If we bring in a manager or get a new manager bounce and go on a bit of a run, we could somehow still make a European place due to how congested this Premier League is, due to how poor this Premier League is. Newcastle dropping points yesterday against Wolves. Aston Villa dropping points yesterday against Everton.
I was very happy about that because that gave Arsenal a 7-point lead. That means they could still lose 2 games and still be in the first place in the Premier League title.
Seriously, it's not even... It's at the point now where it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already, and you let me know your thoughts. The road to 10k is well and truly on. We're just under 300 subs away now from it. David Ornstein has come out today and said that Thomas Frank will be getting the Borussia Dortmund game, which for me is...
And I believe he kept Matthias Tell out of the squad for that game, which doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, the only thing I can think is Tell may have said something or ticked him off backstage, something like that. That's the only thing I can think of, but that's absolutely poor.
Shambolic. It's absolutely shambolic how this manager is still here, but for whatever reason, he is going to take charge of the Borussia Dortmund game. Thomas Frank to take today's news conference and training session before Tottenham host Borussia Dortmund and expected to continue in charge for the Champions League game against Borussia Dortmund on Tuesday, despite growing uncertainty over the 52-year-old's role as Tottenham head coach. Once again, it's a lack.
Look, Arsenal had a coach, Unai Emery, after Arsene Wenger, and things weren't going well for him in the second year, and they had to can him, and they brought in Mikel Arteta. I don't know what Tottenham's waiting for, to be honest with you.
Ambition from this football club. You know, Sky Sports News said Tottenham, Thomas Frank is expected to stay in charge. No final decision has been made yet, and the long-term plan has always been Frank to lead Tottenham for a difficult transitional period for the club. Like, I'm all for giving a manager time, but you can also give the wrong manager time. And as it stands right now, we're 14th in the Premier League. We're 14th in the Premier League. We're only 5 points off Nottingham Forest, which is where we were last year. We're sleepwalking into a relegation battle. We really, really are.
Again, when you look at that, I don't see them going into a relegation battle. I mean, they're 10 points clear of West Ham. Okay, who beat you, yes, but you're 10 points clear of West Ham. You've got Leeds, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth. Mind you, you're behind Crystal Palace. Just sold away their best defender to Manchester City. Yeah, I mean it's difficult, but it's difficult, but it's doable still.
Look at our recent form. 1 win in our last 5 games on the recent home chart, on the recent form charts. When you look at the table and you look at our home form, we're down in 17th. You know, when you look at our away form, we used to be in the top 2. It's now in 15th. Oh, sorry. Well, actually, somehow we're still second in the away form. I don't know. But when you look at our recent results, guys, I'm sorry. 3 defeats in a row, knocked out the FA Cup early. It's not good enough. In our last 8 games in all comps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 win in 8 with this run of games coming up. We can talk about tough transitional periods all we want.
Okay, you got Burnley. You got Dortmund. Okay, but Burnley should be. You can win that game. Frankfurt, you can win that game. Man City, you seem to have Man City's number. You can win that game. Manchester United, okay, they got a new manager bounce. That's a little bit difficult. Home against Newcastle, and then against Arsenal. I mean, yeah, it's a difficult schedule, no question about it.
But Man City, Man United, Newcastle, Arsenal, Dortmund, and Frankfurt. It's woeful. It's absolutely woeful. I have had enough of this. Let's be honest. Does anyone actually trust this football club that we can go and beat Burnley? That we can actually get the right result against Burnley? Because I'll be honest with you, I think we draw or lose that. I don't trust this football club to go out there and beat Borussia Dortmund. And if somehow we do, by some miracle, we are currently, if we do beat Dortmund, we would leapfrog them in the Champions League table, and we potentially could be inside the top 8. We'd be on 14 points. If results go our way, we could be inside the top 6. And we then have Frankfurt to play away, who we already beat last year in the Europa League. But under this manager, I don't trust any of these players. I don't trust this coaching staff. I don't trust Vinay. Vinay coming out saying that, we believe in the quality of players and we're going to, be buying new players. The first piece of business you do is bring in Conor Gallagher and a 19-year-old left-back who has previous injury concerns. That isn't ambition. That isn't what we needed. We need a number 8 who can progressively pass the ball through the lines. Someone like Curtis Jones at Liverpool.
You need a lot. You need to overhaul your attack. You need to overhaul your midfield. Your defense is reasonably decent, but not great. And your goalkeeper needs to be. You need a whole lot. You need about 2 or 3 years of transfer windows to signify to make your team worth a damn. Because right now you guys aren't worth anything right now, and you guys are too easy to beat.
What are we doing as a football club, as a collective, as an institution? This isn't good enough. And it hasn't been good enough for a long, long time now. Pochettino potentially coming back. It's not the same Pochettino of before. He's managed Chelsea since then. He's currently managing the US. He hasn't got Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen. He hasn't got Moussa Dembele, Ericsson, Son, Dele Alli and Harry Kane. We've gone from Harry Kane to Richarlison. We've gone from Son to Odegaard or Tell. And Tell is another player who's been completely mismanaged. The substitutions in the West Ham game. Why does Dominic Solanke not come on at half-time? Why is the first...
Yeah, people wonder why Harry Kane left for Bayern Munich. Now you know. You wonder why Son left for LAFC. Now you know.
Tactical change to bring on Bissouma. Why is Ben Davies starting? Losing to West Ham should be the final straw. They are in a crisis themselves. That was their first win in 8 or 9 games. They lost to Nottingham Forest at home. Everything about this football club right now, we're just making the wrong decisions. Week in, week out. It's not good enough. It's really, really not good enough. Borussia Dortmund, Frankfurt City, Man United, Newcastle and Arsenal. Then you get into March. Fulham away. Which, let's be honest, we're probably going to lose with this manager. Crystal Palace at home. Liverpool, Forest, Sunderland, Brighton. Wolves, Villa and Leeds. I don't know when our next win comes from. I really, really don't. Look at the...
It's not... Look, for all intents and purposes, in the Premier League, there's been no gimme games for anybody. Okay, even Arsenal has had difficulty winning some of these games. I mean, they almost drew with Wolves at home, for crying out loud. Yeah, it's a difficult schedule for Spurs, no question about it. But you got to show up and you got to play these games. That's the only thing you can do.
Results, man. Look at the results since the November. Loss, loss, draw, win, win, loss, loss, win, draw, draw, loss, loss, loss. I'm not saying we've got to be like Manchester City or got to be like Real Madrid with our standards. But at the same time, these results are woeful. West Ham coming to your ground and having more XG. More big chances created.
XG is probably one of those stats that are about as useful as pockets and underwear. But he is right. Tottenham should have beaten West Ham. They should have beaten West Ham. That game should never have gone to the last minute where Cal Wilson scores the game-winning goal.
Another manager in the league would get more out of that group of players. That back line isn't as bad as it's performing. Kolo Muani isn't as bad as what we've seen. We've seen him go into Juventus and get double digits for goals and assists. We've seen him get goals and assists, double digits for Frankfurt, for PSG. Xavi Simons isn't this bad. Why are we starting with a double pivot of Archie Gray and Conor Gallagher? Why do we bring on a like-for-like change? Why can't you add an extra body in midfield and try and dominate them? It's a West Ham side that don't even have Lucas Paqueta. Callum Wilson, 33. Callum Wilson at 33 has got the same amount of goals as Tell. More goals than flipping Dominic Solanke. More goals than Kolo Muani. Why is Destiny Udogie not starting this game? Why is the first change Bissouma? Brings on Bergvall in the 90th minute. Enough is enough. Sack this manager. Everything about it right now. He's captaining a sinking ship. And we've got Borussia Dortmund and then Burnley. And I'll be honest, I'm at the point now where I don't even want to watch Tottenham. And that for me is just soul destroying. When you're at the point where you don't want to watch your own football club.
That is bad. Look, sometimes I don't watch Arsenal because I think I'm bad luck and they're in a good game, they're like Manchester United. I probably, am afraid to watch the game because I think I'm bad luck for them. But it's when you don't want to watch your team play, you don't want to see it. That's when it hurts. In fact, I think the last time that happened was when about 2 or 3 years ago when Arsenal played, Leicester City, and they got beat 3-0. I wouldn't watch that game because I knew it was gonna be a bad game. It's harsh. It's hard whenever you don't want to watch your own team play.
Archie Gray and Paulinho are starting in the Champions League. Probably should be Conor Gallagher and Paulinho. Spence now starting, Porro, Van der Ven, Odegaard, Simmons, Kolo Muani, Tell. They've got players that can hurt us. Julian Brandt, an experienced player. Joe Bellingham's done well. Slotterbeck's a very good centre-half. But it's not a Dortmund of recent times. It's not a Marco Reus Dortmund. It's not an Aubameyang Dortmund. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, this is Henry Talks Tottenham. Henry Talks Football. Henry Talks... look, do I feel bad for him? No. Do I feel bad for Tottenham? No. Long may it continue. But do I think they're in danger of being relegated? No. I don't. At least not yet. Okay, but again, we'll see how it all happens. We'll see what happens against Dortmund tomorrow. I'll be watching Arsenal play Inter, so I won't be watching that game. But either way, should be an interesting thing for Tottenham. Please click like, share, and subscribe for me as well as for Henry Talks Football. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.